So I just wanted to let people know what has happened, well, statistic-wise, what Trump was doing with ending trafficking, and that in regards to now what it's happened with Biden. Obviously, much worse under Biden for sure, no doubt about that. It's increased, especially for children. To curtail human trafficking, especially of children, the Trump administration allowed Immigration and Customs to run DNA tests on immigrants claiming to be traveling in family units. This program detected more than 6,000 fraudulent families. 6,000. But even though the program was effective, Mr. Biden ended it. According to HHS whistleblower, the lowered standards led to more of these children falling into the hands of cartels, pedophiles, and pimps. Many were claimed by family members they had never met and then subjected to horrendous conditions. Rather than attempting to lower these large numbers, the Biden administration has embraced the Trafficking Victims Protection Reauthorization Act in a way calculated to increase the numbers. Section 235 of the Act is a misleading title, quote, enhancing efforts to combat the trafficking of children, grants the unaccompanied children special accommodations such as expedited processing and benefits. And it was passed by Congress. Since taking office, the Biden administration has reported over 300,000 alien minor encounters. The Department of Health and Human Services reports that between January 20th, 2021 and February 7th, 2022, it placed nearly 150,000 unaccompanied children with sponsors in the U.S. Can you imagine who those sponsors are? I can, just because I know what kind of some of the people they put DCFS kids with. And then let's not forget 85,000 children have gone missing. We still don't know where they're at. The dramatic increase can be traced directly to the Biden administration's open border policies. On average, over 12,000 unaccompanied children are entering the nation monthly in 2023. 12,000 children unaccompanied or with a trafficker. I mean, just that they're undocumented. 12,000 of them monthly. Many are women and children who are highly vulnerable to being smuggled and eventually trafficked. A study from the Coalition Against Trafficking in Women estimated that 60% of the unaccompanied alien children are caught by cartels and exploited through child pornography and drug trafficking. Human trafficking increased massively in the last fiscal year. Arrests rose 50%, convictions soared by 80%. The vast majority, 72% of those trafficked in the U.S. are immigrants. 72% of those trafficked right now in the U.S. are immigrants. Most of them are here illegally. Many are women and children who are highly vulnerable to being smuggled and eventually trafficked. So, So for the people that pushed and are continuing to push health equity at American Nurses Association and American Medical Association, just remember where they stood. They stood with the UN. A bunch of countries at the UN don't give a shit about children, okay? I don't know how these nurses sleep at night. I really don't, because American Nurses Association has 7 lobbyists. So their lobbyists have had a lot of influence over Congress. That's why everybody in healthcare is going along with health equity. So they couldn't get their lobbyists to protect the most innocent? I mean, how can you sleep at night knowing that everything that you support is in opposition to being a nurse? This was this year, California Democrats' black bill to make child trafficking a felony. See, most of the people that run American Nurses Association and the Medical Association, they're Democrats. So it doesn't surprise me. It's all about their ideology-driven agenda. And if that means more children trafficked, sexually exploited, then they'll keep doing it. They'll keep pushing their racist health equity agenda and completely think that they can just ignore what's going on at the border or write some paper about it, or let's do, like, this is one of the biggest things I hate about all of these people that write these papers, is they don't ever do anything action step-wise. They don't. They write papers and say, this is the problem and that's the problem. Half the time they're wrong, okay? And they don't even say what really the problem is. And it does nothing. Or they have, like, what Trump used to call blue ribbon committees, where people sit around and they talk about, but nothing gets done. Like, do you think that a child like this has time for you to waste getting together with all your other nurses or all your other physicians and let's track a plan, and let's look at all the data, let's pull the research, let's talk about, no, like, just, this isn't hard to put together. It's like, let's stop with our health equity racist agenda and put our focus where it should be, on the most vulnerable, instead of burying your head in the sand, acting like you don't know what's going on, yet everybody else in America knows. This little boy would still be alive today if Biden wasn't in. Illegal alien freed into the U.S. from the southern border, charged with killing 11-year-old Aiden Clark. Yeah, and again, what is the health profession focusing on? Their racist agenda of health equity. This is Kat Cammack. She's a representative in the House, or maybe a congresswoman. Details chilling case of toddler trafficked into U.S. by illegal alien sex offender. So many of these children are being trafficked, and if you think about it, 12,000 children a day, or 12,000 children a month, and 70% of those illegal immigrants are being trafficked, or 70% of those children are being trafficked and exploited. And what is CDC and HHS and nursing and medical profession boards and organizations doing? Focusing on health disparities and racism. The audacity of them to talk about equity and inclusion. They're such an embarrassment as a nurse. This was 2022, feds probing possible labor trafficking pipeline of migrant kids into U.S. jobs. Yeah, when you go aligning with the United Nations, who are known for trafficking, that's why they're giving the cards out at the border, the cash cards and the phones. They're NGOs, they're non-governmental organizations. That's what they're doing. And because medicine and nursing aligned with the UN. That's why they try to just act like it's not even going on. Such a disgrace. And they all hated this man. Yeah, they hated Trump. Tells you what kind of nurses they are. The Sound of Truth, this was back in July, The Sound of Freedom. Trump did more to end human trafficking than any modern president. Yes, he did. I know it because I took care of many of those girls fresh out of trafficking. And yet my nursing profession, what do they focus on? Well, they focus on being racist.